Welcome to the IREL podcast. Are you sick and tired of real estate gurus pitching their next free construction deal, only to find out years later they were completely wrong? Worried the next overseas conference you spend thousands to attend will only be used to sell overpriced lots in deserted developments? Join thousands of other international real estate seekers who are looking for their place in paradise without the sales pitch. Straight from your host, Taylor White.
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of the IREL podcast. I am your host, Taylor White. I am so thrilled to sit down and speak with Juan from Cartagena Realty in Cartagena, Colombia, and we'll get down and dirty with the Cartagena real estate scene and have you coming away wanting to investigate its local property market further or cross it off your short list entirely and continue listening. Right now from Paul, you will learn what his 5 Cartagena Hot Seat answers were and why you need to listen. How he sees the local real estate market performing over the next few years. What exact area he believes is the next growth area to invest in. The best way any investor can earn some cheddar, and much more. And don't forget, if you're listening to this podcast and want to grab Paul's contact details, links on buying or selling Cartagena real estate, or any other show notes, head on over to irelpodcast.com/5. That's irelpodcast.com/5. I'm excited. Let's get Paul on the phone. Hey, Paul, it's Taylor White. I'm excited to have you on the podcast today, straight from Cartagena, Colombia. So we can get to know you personally. Tell us about yourself and where your stomping grounds were before you ended up in Cartagena.
Thank you, Taylor. I'm honored to be here. Well, I'm a native Cartagenero, so I was born and raised here. I used to play soccer and ride my skateboard in the streets. I love the city here. I'll live all my life. I did my university studies in LSU in Baton Rouge and returned here in 1990 after taking my degree in electrical and computer engineering. I like it here a lot, so I never decided to stay in the States or anything. I always wanted to come back over here.
Oh, Paul, that's awesome. And so we can get a better idea of you professionally. Give us your brief resume leading up to working at Cartagena Realty.
Okay. With my engineering background, I had a computer shop for like 7 years in Cartagena, and I had to close it off when I could not compete in prices with the big stores. In 2001, I started working developing a web portal called CartagenaInfo.com. who's the guy that masterminded it, James Bone. He became my mentor and dear friend. He passed away 2 years ago. And working in Cartagena Info, developing that, we discovered a market for people trying to buy or rent property in Cartagena. So that's how we ended up developing or creating CartagenaRealty.com, because we found the market doing something else.
Oh, that's great, Paul. And since you were born and raised in Cartagena, went to school at LSU stateside, and then came back to Cartagena, let me ask you a different question than what I normally ask. If you were to pick another place or two to live in Colombia, where might those be?
Medellin, definitely, or Santa Marta. Medellin is a fairly large city, like 2.5 million people, with a very nice climate all year round. It's modern, it's very organized and progressive. Santa Marta is more like Cartagena. It's more of a beach town, but beautiful landscape with dry and weather, cool, and the landscape is very, very unique. It's semi-desert with the biggest mountain next to it. The Sierra Nevada is right next to it, so it's very unique. Santa Marta has got lots of appeal too.
Well, Paul, I couldn't agree more and believe Cartagena is an awesome city for having an amazing lifestyle full of things to do, see, and enjoy. Through my travels, I am a firm believer in that I either get a place or I don't. Share with us some reasons why Cartagena speaks to you.
Well, Taylor, Cartagena to me is the best place to live on earth, man. I couldn't live anywhere else. I like it here a lot. I love the heat, the beach, the culture. The people here are amazing. The people here will make you feel like you're the family right off. I mean, once you walk the streets here, and you don't feel a stranger anywhere. I mean, so it's really, once you get here, you don't want to leave. I've had many stories of people coming to Cartagena for the first time ever and buying property right off. So it's really appealing, the warmth of the people.
Well, I have been to Colombia. I have been to Medellin, which is beautiful, green in the mountains a little bit. And I've been to Cartagena, and you are exactly right. It's kind of hot. It's kind of sexy. It's a beautiful walled city right on the coast. And I couldn't agree with you more, Paul. Okay, now let's roll into another one. We have gotten to know you both personally and professionally, reasons why you chose Colombia, and why Cartagena speaks to you. Now, it's time for us to pick your brain on the local real estate scene, and to get the juices flowing, we're going to do a quick round of what I like to call the real estate hot seat, where I ask you 5 rapid-fire questions, and you give me an answer in 15 seconds or less each. Paul, are you ready for the Cartagena hot seat?
Yes, I am.
All right. What currency is real estate priced in?
Colombian pesos, basically. I have in my website, both in Spanish, it's cartagenainmuebles.com, and in English, it's cartagenarealty.com. In the English website, you find English metrics like square feet instead of square meters, and you find the dollar equivalent of the peso price. But basically, the deals are locked and closed in pesos most of the time.
Is owning property as a foreigner legal?
Yes, it is. Very legal. It's no problem for any foreign to buy property here with a passport. And it's very... The Colombian law system doesn't differentiate whether you are a national or a foreigner. It doesn't make any difference at all.
Can property be titled?
Yes. Fully titled, and by the way, that's the only way to buy property in Colombia, that is fully titled. We only have one way of owning property, and that's like the fee simple that's used in the U.S.
Can money flow in and out of Colombia easily, or are there currency restrictions?
Yes, Taylor. Money can come in and out of the country easily by proper channels. That is through banks. There are no currency exchange restrictions at all. For example, I do wire transfers from my bank's web portal, from my PC in my office every day. I mean, I send money in and out of the country very easily. The problem for the making the deal happen is that it's not easy for Americans to open an account here. So basically, you have to, if you want to send money in and out and you don't have an account here, you have to send it directly to the owner's account, or maybe to the agent's account, and then pay the seller. So the difficult part is opening a bank account here, not sending money in and out.
And Paul, my number one question, what is your favorite local drink?
Okay. I like Cerveza Águila. It's the local beer. And the Coco Loco, which is you crack up a cocoa and a coconut and pour some white rum in it. It's our local drink.
I am all about the Coco Loco. I can tell right there, rum and coconut water in the shell, sitting by the beach in Cartagena. I mean, that's about as good as it gets, Paul.
Yes.
Okay, Paul, you can now relax, but just a little bit, as you are off the Cartagena hot seat. But it's time to zero in on the local real estate scene. Give us your brief synopsis on the Cartagena real estate market over the last few years, where it is today, and then where you see it heading for the next few years. Okay,
Taylor. 10 years ago, the country was very, in economic downside, depression. So the whole city was for sale. Any person that came in that time and invested in property here would have doubled the money in a couple of years. Like in 2004, maybe, when Álvaro Uribe came to power, we saw a rebirth of the Colombian economic and political scene. We kind of put away the security, the safety issues with the kidnappings and the guerrillas. So we saw a booming of the Colombian economy. And a lot of people started coming along, investing here, and a lot of Colombian expats were coming from 2004 up to 2008, when the U.S., economic real estate crisis came along. So that affected us a bit because buyers stopped flowing as they used to. Now the rediscovery of Cartagena, that's big in the news. The wall city is, and it's safe to be here, and it's safe to invest here. There's a lot of interest. There's always people coming in, but the problem is that the city right now, the price is already high. I mean, they're comparable to Miami prices or maybe San Juan. So that makes it right now makes it difficult to compete and to land the deal. What I see Cartagena booming, and of course with a big future, because Cartagena offers a unique economic platform by combining tourism. We have a big petrochemical complex, like heavy industry, and seaport. So all of that in one place, and that's a big wealth generator, an economic generator. For instance, we have like 4 major brand hotels, like Hyatt, Sheraton, and Intercontinental, Holiday Inn. Those are currently under construction in the Boca Grande area, like in the modern part of the city. There's a big oil refinery expansion mega project also in progress. And also the major cruise ships are starting to board people in Cartagena. So anybody from other Latino countries like Venezuela or Ecuador that couldn't get a visa to fly to Miami, they fly to Cartagena, enjoy the city for a couple of days, and board a cruise here. So I see the future very promising to Cartagena. Of course, I'm optimistic, and I'm keep working at it to make it happen.
Well, Paul, you have me sold on Colombia as a country, Cartagena as a city, and then its real estate outlook within the near future. Of course, you don't have a crystal ball. I sure as heck don't. No one does. But that is why I think it's so vitally important to get on-the-ground insight from local real estate professionals. And yes, I just used the words local and on the ground in the same sentence to drive home a very important fact. Paul, you are not some newsletter writer who might spend a few days in Cartagena and then send out emails with hot buys calling yourself an international real estate guru. You are there in the trenches on a daily basis dealing with local buyers, sellers, agents, lawyers, and every facet of the real estate business. Break this down even further for us, Paul. Pretend you are Google Maps or Google Street View. What streets, neighborhoods, or parts of the city are we talking about in Cartagena?
Okay, Taylor, all my listings are like in the higher strata areas of the city. The main pool of the city, of course, is a historic wall city where you can find small boutique hotels, fancy restaurants and shops. It's the place to be in Cartagena. Is a walkable area where you find a lot of action and a lot of life and activity. As far as real estate goes in the old city, you can find like small apartments. That big houses have been restored and changed into modern apartments, or you can find a big colonial mansion, depending if you got the muscle for it. You can find an old house, a jewel 17th century colonial mansion, and restore it to your place. That's the historic part. Then the modern upscale area is Boca Grande, Castillo Grande, and Laguito, with beaches and shops and hotels and restaurants. That's where like the young people want to come. It's also walkable. I'll call that area like a little Manhattan. Like it's almost 100% surrounded by water, but it's very easy to walk and to walk, identify where you want to go. And in that area, you can find modern apartments with lots of buildings, high rises with new architecture, using glass and modern amenities. The other part that's interesting in Cartagena is the north area. It's like where the city is growing to. And there you can find also nice apartments with direct access to the beach. And there's a couple of hotels over there. There's a Holiday Inn and Hotel Las Americas are there. I have like some listings there, like for example the Altamar area, the Altamar building. I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment, 1,087 square feet for like $208,000. There's also a project that recently finished. It's called the Beach Club, and there you can find apartments starting at $270,000. I have something very interesting, for example, in the historic area. It's called Apartment 304 Covadonga Apartments. is 2-bedroom flat, 1 bathroom, 1,130 square feet for $333,000. So there's all kinds of good inventory for the different tastes that you might find appealing to for anybody that wants to come here.
Okay, Paul, now that we have specific locations in mind, what types of properties do you recommend? And first, let me give you a few brief examples of what I mean. Are we talking about buying pre-construction units for capital appreciation that we flip? Are we talking about buying completed apartments, houses, or office spaces to generate rental income? Or are we talking about buying land to either sell as is or subdivide into smaller tracts? Paul, give us a better idea of what you're talking about and recommending today.
Well, Tyler, for investment, it's a good idea to buy in pre-construction. There's a couple of good projects. For example, the Morro City that is in the pre-construction progress right now. And if you buy it, you have your own apartment in about 2 years, and then you can flip it and maybe expect to make like 5% a year or something. The main market for international buyers is like the vacation apartment, buying a small apartment, a 2-bedroom flat with in a nice, very appealing building. And you can rent it out for visitors to vacationers and use it your own when you're in town. So that's basically the main pull of the growth of the market, buying smaller apartments, vacation apartments.
Okay, Paul. Now I'm going to hit you up with a 2-part question that I know everyone wants to know, and you have to give us a general range so we have some price points in mind. And here they are. Part 1, I'm going to ask you, and then feel free to answer. What would be the price range of what we are talking about? Maybe give us something from the starting price point, maybe up to a higher end price point.
I would say like from $250,000 to $550,000.
And part 2, what would be the cost per meter? Again, maybe something from the low end to something from the high end, or just a general range.
Yes, in average, I would say like $3,600 per square meter.
Perfect. And for listeners like me who are used to dealing in square feet, you would divide the number you hear by 10.76, or maybe just a flat 10 to keep it easy, and you get a close enough number to get an idea of what Paul's referring to. Okay, Paul, this is a question I like to call, what would Grandma do? My grandma calls you up, says she has X amount of dollars to spend. You can't let my grandma down. Share with us 3 specific examples you would show her and explain why these make sense.
Oh, okay. That depends on how big of grandma's purse is. But in general, any apartment in a new building with an unobstructed water view is a very desirable property and will appreciate in time. Anything in the old city is fairly priced. It's also a winner that I would recommend. And I'll send you some examples. I talk about the Altamar unit, for instance, is on the 15th floor of a brand new apartment. It's 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms for $208,000. I spoke about the Beach Club. It's a recently finished project in the north area, right on the water. You can find apartments there still available for $270,000 starting at. And the flat in the old city that I spoke about is on the 3rd floor of a Covadonga Apartments. It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1,130 square feet for the price of $333,000.
That's perfect, Paul. And to just again clarify, when you give us a price, you're pricing in U.S. dollars and not Colombian pesos. Is that correct?
I'm giving the dollar equivalent of the peso price, but most of these prices, unless the owner is a foreigner that would take dollars outside of Colombia, but that's very unique and that when it happens. But most of these, I'm giving the dollar figure to make it easier for our audience.
That's fantastic. Okay, great. We are laser focused on specific areas of Cartagena. We know our starting price point. We have an idea of cost per meter. We have 3 specific examples which are good enough even for grandma. Now let me ask you an obvious question. How do we buy? Do we need to come in with all cash, whether that's from our checking account, home equity line of credit, or retirement funds? Or can we come in with a certain percentage down and get local financing from a bank or credit union?
Yes, Taylor. Basically, any foreigner has to come with cash, full. Unless you're going to buy under construction or pre-construction, well, that way you pay in terms, as construction progresses. Like normally for pre-construction, you pay like 10% down, and then you pay 30% during construction and 60% when the apartment is ready. But yes, it's a big rejection that I get from foreigners when they come here, because financing is not available unless you're a Colombian citizen. So you have to get your own financing abroad from your local bank, or get a home equity, or if you have just funds of your own, there you can you come here and buy property, but it's not easy. It's not easy to get any financing here. Also, it doesn't make much sense here to pay the banks like 14 to 16% interest a year. Well, you can get financing in the U.S. or in Europe for 5 or 6% a year.
Okay, Paul, anyone who has ever owned real estate can tell you, you need to have a money exit strategy in place even before you buy. It's something what I like to call, where's the cheddar? You are buying the property to do what with it to make some money. So, Paul, where's my cheddar?
The cheddar is in the vacation rentals. You buy the apartment, a vacation unit, a 2-bedroom, maybe 1,000 square meter, 1,000 square foot apartment, and you rent it to vacationers. That way you can maybe squeeze out of it maybe 8% of your investment. So the cheddar is in the vacation rental apartments.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, Paul, I wanted to thank you for taking the time to share with us about Cartagena real estate. We have heard about your journey, why you chose Colombia, exact areas of Cartagena to focus on, price points to look out for, specific examples good enough even for grandma, a money strategy to purchase, and then what we might do with it after the fact to make some cheddar. Unfortunately, it's time to say goodbye. But before we do, share with us an easy way to get a hold of you, any parting advice you might want to share, and then let's say goodbye.
Okay, Taylor, thank you for having me here. And you can, the listeners can visit my website. It's called www.cartagenarealty.com. There's lots of information there. It's tips on buying good property. My website offers full information and full disclosure on all the properties I list, with photos, prices. All the properties that I've listed in my website, I have personally visited and taken the pictures myself, all the pictures that I published in the website. If you have any questions, please shoot me an email at paul@cartagenarealty.com. I'm always connected over the internet, 24/7.
Awesome, Paul. I have really enjoyed this conversation straight from Cartagena, Colombia to our earbuds. And I hope that we can catch up again in 3 to 6 months.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you for having me.
I want to thank Paul once again for his awesome take being on the ground in Cartagena. If you're listening to this podcast and want to grab Paul's contact details, links on buying or selling Cartagena real estate, or any other show notes, head on over to irelpodcast.com/5. We would love to hear your thoughts on today's episode and are giving away over $500 in free site upgrades to each and every property owner, agent, or developer who lists real estate on our site and leaves us an honest iTunes review. In addition, for all listeners who don't own any real estate, instead, we'll provide an awesome resource guide that will give you amazing discounts to our most popular resources, including vacation rental sites, home exchange sites, house sitting sites, and much more. Just head on over to irelpodcast.com/5 for complete details.
You have been listening to the IREL Podcast with Taylor White. Be sure to hit up irelpodcast.com for more. That's irelpodcast.com. Thanks for listening.